All right, here it is. You can see by the title of the channel, I'm back. I've been stagnant, dormant, whatever you want to say, for a while. And the reason is there was nothing really that interesting in boxing to me to talk about. But something in the last 48 hours that was, lying still has been woken, and I'm awake and I'm up, and let's fucking go. For those of you that don't know who I am, that's okay. I've been out of the game for a while, so I don't expect everybody to just know. I had a YouTube channel years ago, Row Show Boxing, had tons of subscribers, tons of videos. I'm somebody that has covered boxing in the past, for Ringside Report, for Boxing Talk, for Max Boxing, for Fight Hype. I've covered fights, live on Press Row, been in training camps. I've been published multiple times in Ring Magazine in the past. And I got out of the game, to be quite honest with you, because I felt like boxing after Floyd Mayweather retired just got boring. There wasn't really a lot going on. There wasn't stuff that I felt the need to talk about or discuss. It's been like that for a while. But there are two topics that really have got me fired up. One of these topics happened a while ago, and I was thinking about getting back into it then. But now with this latest thing with Usyk, I feel the need to come back and, cut through the bullshit, educate the fight fans that are clearly clueless, that are getting bad information, that are getting, things being told to them by guys who are experts in all this shit that is doing nothing but rotting their brains and making them dumber fight fans. And so I'm going to come back and I'm going to call it like it is, and I'm going to tell it like it is, and I'm going to expose a lot of these idiots that are out there on social media, on YouTube, on, Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, that are saying stupid shit and making you, the fight fan, dumber. Okay? The first thing I want to talk about is the Usyk fight that happened a couple days ago. I've been sitting on this, marinating on this, like I said, for about 48 hours. And I'm flabbergasted and blown away at the stupid shit that I am reading, or that I am seeing, or that I am hearing from people on social media about Usyk as a fighter, where he ranks, all time. My fucking head wants to pop off. I'm seeing people say he's better than Ali. I'm seeing people say he's a top 10 heavyweight of all time. I'm seeing people say he's a top 5 pound for pound fighter of all time. And that's just complete fucking nonsense. Anybody feeding you that or anybody telling you that is a fucking idiot and should be called a fucking idiot. Okay, I'm going to call it real. I'm going to call it raw. I'm not on here to, get subscribers. My whole viewpoint with this channel and what I'm going to come out and do and say is, if you want to watch it, do it. If you don't. You want to subscribe to the channel, do it. If you don't want to subscribe to the channel, don't. Okay, if you want to get educated on boxing, I'll help you along the way. Okay, and let me just break it down for you in this video. And if you like what you hear, there's going to be more of this coming. Okay. First off, is Usyk a good fighter? Yes. Does he have a nice skill set? Yes, he does. Is he a all-time great fighter, or a top 5 pound for pound fighter, or a top 5 heavyweight, or better than Muhammad Ali? Fuck to the no, crazy talk. First off, he doesn't have the resume. What guy on his resume would be considered not even an all-time great, but just a great fighter in any other era? The answer is nobody. the two best names on his resume are Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Anthony Joshua would be a C heavyweight. He'd be the type of guy that your prospect or your contender fought like 2 or 3 fights before fighting for the title in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Okay, Tyson Fury is a little bit better than that. He'd be a C-plus guy. He'd be a contender in those eras. Neither one of those guys would be a great fighter or a heavyweight champion trying to mow through the guys in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, or even the early 2000s. Neither one of those guys. So if those guys aren't that caliber of fighter and Usyk beats them, how the fuck can he be a top 5 heavyweight of all time and a better fighter than Muhammad Ali? That's just stupid. It's just stupid. Okay, let's forget all-time great names like Jack Johnson or Jack Dempsey or Gene Tunney or Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, George Foreman, Larry Holmes, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, the Klitschko brothers. Let's just throw those guys out the window, and let's just talk about guys from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s that were heavyweight champions at one point. Right? Let's talk about the Weavers. Let's talk about the Tates, the Witherspoons, the Burbicks, the Tubbs, the Pages, the Dokes. You know, guys like Ray Mercer, Tommy Morrison, Frank Bruno, Chris Bird, Michael Moore. Like let's talk about those guys. How many of those guys does Usyk beat? Not fucking many. Not even half. Not even half of those dudes does he beat. Jimmy Ellis. Right? Talk about those guys. How many of those guys does Usyk beat? Those guys were fucking murderers. And they weren't even in the upper echelon of heavyweight champions that boxing has ever seen. And Usyk doesn't beat half of those fucking guys. But you're telling me he's a top 5 heavyweight all time and as good as Muhammad Ali? Fuck out of here. You're a fucking moron if you are spreading that out into the fucking world. You're a fucking moron. Moron. Usyk is benefiting from a weak era. And you guys are taking what he's doing and his accomplishments and overrating them because the competition he's facing is dog shit. That's the same thing people are doing for Terence Crawford. And I like Terence Crawford. I met him. He's a great guy. Nice guy. Great fighter. But after he beat Spence, which all he did was prove Spence was overrated. That's all he did. That's all he did in that fight was prove that Spence was overrated. He fucking ruined Spence because Spence was overrated. People were saying things like, now he's at the level of the 4 Kings. Now he's at Mayweather's level. Now he's with Sweet Pea Pernell Whitaker. Now he's with Ray Robinson and Durant and like Willie Pep and shit like that. No, he's not. He's suffering from the same thing. He's a good fighter fighting in a weak era. Look at his resume. What fucking great fighter has Terence Crawford beat? Like Canelo said, fucking nobody. But after he whooped Spence's ass, all of a sudden he's at the level of the 4 Kings. He's a fucking Floyd Mayweather. He's an Oscar De La Hoya. He's a Pacquiao. He's a Willie Pep. He's a Henry Armstrong. He's a Walker Smith Jr. He's at that fucking level after beating Terence Crawford or after beating Errol Spence. That's what I'm saying. People are so fucking dumb. People are so desperate for attention and clicks and to try and sound smarter than they are and to try and be the first person to start this thing and have it grow and have people catch on and be like, oh, see, I was right, that they don't understand what is actually going on. And that is that Terence Crawford is a nice fighter, but he's not an all-time great fighter. Usyk is a great fighter. He's not an all-time great fighter. He might be the greatest fighter of his generation right now in or around cruiserweight and heavyweight. Sure, I would agree with that. But people are saying he's up there with Ali, better than Ali. People are afraid to say this out loud. No, nobody's afraid to say it out loud because it's fucking stupid. Fucking stupid. Okay? Usyk is a nice fighter, not an all-time great heavyweight, not a top 5 pound-for-pound guy. Terrence Crawford isn't anywhere near the Four Kings, or Floyd Mayweather, or Oscar De La Hoya, or Manny Pacquiao, or Willie Pep, or Armstrong, or, you know, Pernell Whitaker, or whatever. He's not even close to that level of fighter. But because he gets a nice win in an era where everybody who has a social media account is a fucking expert, then all of a sudden he's an all-time great fighter and at that level. You guys are stupid. You're stupid asses. And I'm here to correct that. Okay? I'm here to correct that. Neither Usyk or Crawford is an all-time great fighter, a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter, a top 5 heavyweight, none of that shit. Can you imagine what would happen to Usyk if he was thrown in there with fucking Joe Louis, with Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton? Can you imagine Jack Dempsey cracking him on the fucking chin? He'd be eating out of a straw for 3 months. Can you imagine him trying to battle and box with Jack Johnson? Can you imagine him in there with Mike Tyson in his fucking prime? Could you imagine what would happen to him if he was in with Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis or Riddick Bowe or the Klitschko brothers? What? He would get fucking demolished, destroyed in those fights. Destroyed. But some of you bozo the clowns got him as a top 5 guy all time. You're retarded. And I'm here to correct that, and that shit starts today. So if you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm always down to talk shop, but if you're going to be a retard, then it's getting deleted. Okay? Only intelligent boxing stuff is going to be talked about on this channel, whether it's by me, whether it's by me to you, to me. It's only going to be that type of stuff. Enough of this, everybody has a Twitter handle, everybody has a whatever, so they're a boxing expert. Who would win between Ali and Usyk? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Usyk would be a fucking punching bag. That's what would happen. That's what would fucking happen. Who would win between Usyk and Tyson? Are you kidding me? Tyson would hit him on the fucking chin in the first round, and he'd be... That's what would happen. That's what would happen. Can you imagine if he fought Joe Louis? Yeah, I could. You might as well bring a stretcher out. That's what would happen. So that's it for me. That's it for this rant. Again, this is stuff that's just been driving me fucking bonkers, man. Watching how much stupid shit gets said online by people who have no fucking clue what they're talking about. And the funniest part is when I respond to these people, it's crickets. They don't say shit. It's because they don't know shit. Because once you get to the bottom of your bag of boxing knowledge, you got nothing to say. My shit keeps going, fellas. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, subscribe to the channel if you want to do so. Share the video, join in on the discussion, and be on the lookout for more content like this. And until the next one, I'm out of here.